We sang part of Psalm 29 just now. It is an ancient song of praise, proclaiming the power and majesty of God's voice. This is the same voice that called Jesus the Beloved, the voice which spoke creation into being. This psalm, like so many, is powerful, physical poetry, appealing to all the senses, as God's voice thunders, breaks, flashes, and shakes with power. And in the Lord's temple, all cry glory. I reckon we can do that. In this temple, all cry glory. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. In this temple, all cry glory. Living in Australia, we're all familiar with the power of nature in cyclones, strong winds, winter storms, bushfires, and baking heat. I'm reminded of Dorothy McKell's famous poem, and this is actually the second verse. I bet you'll know it. I love a sunburnt country, a land of sweeping plains, of ragged mountain ranges, of droughts and flooding rains. I love her far horizons. I love her jewel sea, her beauty and her terror, the wide brown land for me. In our warm and dry corner of this wide brown land, we can watch online or on television as people clean up after floods that bring muddy water through their properties. Or we can see people in New York or London clearing snow from the roads. We can, if we choose, see and hear what's happening all around the world at any time of the day or night. When John the Baptist was out there in the Judean wilderness, prophesying and baptizing, people must somehow have heard about him. We're told that they came from Jerusalem and all over the place to hear his message. There were no newspapers or TV or internet, so word of mouth must have spread the news around the countryside. Word of mouth is still the best way to spread good news. Research has shown that most people who start attending church do so because somebody invited them. Somebody talked to them and asked them to come along with them. That's something worth remembering. So people trudged out of town to see what this strange prophet was up to out in the wilderness. In the Hebrew tradition, God appeared at significant natural locations like mountains, deserts, and rivers. John the Baptizer needed a river, obviously, and when Jesus came out of the water, the Spirit came down over the water, just as at the beginning of time, the Spirit was hovering over the waters. God's investment in creation runs through all today's readings if we look carefully. Isaiah writes to Israel about God's servant who will bring justice to the world and be a light to the nations. In our reading from the Acts of the Apostles, Peter speaks of his realization that God shows no partiality, but wants a loving relationship with all people, Gentiles as well as Jews. Psalm 29 praises God's power in and over the natural world. And then as Jesus is baptized, we see and hear all the three persons of the Trinity together. As Jesus goes down into the water, the Spirit comes to him, and God's voice speaks. Many of us may have been baptized as babies by having water poured onto our heads. For those who are baptized as adults, how lucky you are to be able to remember your baptism. Baptism by full immersion, actually going under the water as Ian did last year, is a powerful experience for the one being baptized and for everyone watching. The full symbolism of going down under the water and then bursting out back into the light and air makes the meaning of baptism even clearer. It is a little drowning, a teasing tilt at death, and we emerge cleansed and new, ready to begin a new life as a full member of the family of God. Jesus had no sin to be forgiven, no need to be cleansed from sin. But by submitting to baptism, he showed his solidarity with us in his humanity, his physical personhood. Baptism particularly highlights the importance of our bodies and what we do with them. We are physical beings and our bodies matter to God as well as to us. One commentator puts it this way: to understand baptism, we must understand the reality and physicality of being human and what it means to say that God saved us by becoming just like us. Our bodies are integral to who we are as human beings. When we say the Apostles' Creed, which we say in the baptism service, we assert that we believe in the resurrection of the body and the life everlasting. We are saying that our bodies will be made new. I don't know how that will work, but it's a wonderful thing to look forward to. God made us physical beings and intended us to be whole, complete people. But we know that most of us are broken and flawed. That does not mean that our bodies are not important. The Gnostic heresy, which threatened Christian teaching in the early years of the Church, taught that bodies were insignificant, just the vessels that carry your true self around until you die and your spirit is set free. That idea still permeates people's thinking, but it isn't Christian teaching. If it was true, then it wouldn't matter what you did with your body. You could abuse it in all sorts of ways, and perhaps more significantly, you could hurt the bodies of others and convince yourself that their soul was untouched. Even worse, you could convince yourself that by punishing your own body or the bodies of others, children and adults, you are somehow saving their souls. So much damage has been done because of this false idea. But we pray, no more. We know better now, so we do better now. We honour our bodies, God's creation, when we look after them and when we care for the needs of other people. What did Jesus tell us to do? Feed the poor, heal the sick, visit those in prison, care for the needy, comfort the broken-hearted. He was talking about the importance of caring for the whole person. Just as we are to honour our bodies, we are to honour the rest of creation, without which we could not survive. Our wide brown land needs us to tread carefully and thoughtfully, listening to the wisdom of those who have lived here for millennia, and doing our part to safeguard the world and all its creatures. As those ancient people heard the voice of God in the storm, may we listen for God's voice telling us that we too are beloved. And in this temple, all cry, glory. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.